Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to A Better World with Adrian. I am so grateful that you're here. And today I'm doing a bonus podcast because I feel really inspired to channel a bit about the specific energy that is opening up in April 2026. So, this is a key month of seismic change, seismic shifts. We are going to look back on this month as holy shit, that's when everything changed. And each of us are in a choice point of how it's going to change, what way we're going to be spiraling, because either way, we're going to spiral. All right. You're either going to spiral up into deliberate greatness, relentless rise, like I mentioned in the Atlantis activation episode, the one right before this, or you will spiral into chaos with the collective, down into chaos, darkness, mediocrity, distraction, all the things. And I've been advising all of my high proximity clients inside New Earth Elite on exactly how all of this energy is impacting them, their business, their personal life, their health, their wealth, their happiness, their freedom, their astrology. We're doing deep, potent nervous system reset, a lot of high performance coaching, just a lot right now. And I felt inspired to just do a short bonus episode on the podcast, my offering to the collective on what's going on. There's two specific shifts I want you to know about. So that's what today's episode is. If you are someone who's here living your divine assignment, you are committed to accelerated change and accessing your highest potential in 2026 as we birth a better world, a world we're proud of, new earth, then this episode is for you. Okay, so there are two seismic shifts happening in April of 2026. And this podcast is dropping on April 10th. What I want you to know is that this is a resource that I want you to use um, as the astrology is unfolding, and you're going to study it later. Like I teach all of my students and clients, you want to study the astrology forward and back because that's how you notice patterns. That's how you discover, okay, this is how the energy has expressed, like for me in this lifetime, in this body. This is how it has historically expressed in my business. And that's when you really start to live in the long game and the long arc, and honestly, the deep, reverent relationship with astrology as a sacred science and a portal to the divine, rather than like a cheap instant gratification horoscope that we're seeing so much in the online space, on social media. Like, there's so much propaganda and misinformation about astrology, and spoiler alert, that's why a lot of people don't take it seriously. When, as we know, just with things like money, just like things with, you know, the deep, dark feminine power that is unlocked when we bleed, like things that are taboo or demonized in life are usually the most powerful things. And so, what I teach is astrology from the ancient codes. That like I didn't just like take a 2 hour $50 course and call myself an astrologer. I've been in deep daily ceremony and relationship and leverage with this sacred science, and honestly it's a very specific how-to guide for divine timing. So you're gonna want to study this forward and back. All of that to say. The first shift is there is an Aries crunch. I'm calling it Aries crunch stellium. So in April, there's going to be a stellium. A stellium is when there's more than one, there's more than three planets, depending on the astrologers. Some astrologers say five. I use three. When there's three or more planets in one sign at a specific time, it's called a stellium. It's a very, very concentrated, focus of a specific frequency of energy that we're being called to learn about, grow through, self-actualize through, discover the highest frequency of, which usually means going toe to toe with the shadows of it. And it's happening in Aries. And so it's going to be the Sun, Mercury, Mars, Saturn, and Neptune all in the sign of Aries in April 2026. Now, the biggest part of this, that the reason why I call it Aries Crunch Stellium, is that it is going to feature the exact Mars Saturn conjunction. It's happening at 7 degrees of Aries. It's going to be exact around I believe, the 18th or 19th, right before we enter Taurus season. So, this is when I think about what the energetic signature of this means. And if you don't know how this is impacting you and your chart specifically, it's really important for you to know that. Like, it's insanely important. I do this with my one-on-one clients. If you're interested, the link to apply to work with me one-on-one is in the show notes. So, the last time we had a series of Mars Saturn conjunctions, it was in 2020. Everybody remembers 2020. It was in the sign of Aquarius. Okay. Aquarius is the collective, technology. Aquarius is fixed air. Okay. What happened? Coronavirus. Mars, the planet of war, action, passion, and aggression, was conjunct with Saturn, the planet of limitation, boundary, restriction, time, discipline, long-term vision. So the planet of war and the planet of restriction came together multiple times in 2020 and 2021 in the sign of Aquarius. And every single time they came together, there was some new either strain of COVID. It was when in March 2020 was when the lockdowns first hit the US. And in 2019, I was advising my clients, I'm like, something's going to happen in March. I see restriction. I see, a lot of angsty astrology. Mars is a planet of action. Mars is the planet of go, and Saturn is the planet of no. And so when these two planets to come together, it's like the planet it's like having the parking brake up on your car, in your car, and slamming on the gas at the very same time. Mars wants to slam on the gas, and Saturn is the parking brake saying no. Mars is like, oh my God, I'm passing go. Monopoly, I'm going to collect $200. And Saturn is like, no, do not pass go. Do not collect $200. You're going straight to jail. And you cannot even qualify for a get out of jail free card. That's Saturn energy, right? Saturn is discipline. It's restriction. So this is what I mean by noticing the patterns in astrology is that, first of all, myself and my clients were very equipped for the energy coming in 2020. And, 2020 was a time where if you were someone who could pivot and you were stayed in your power and you didn't go into victim consciousness, not only could you thrive, the amount of wealth that was created in 2020 specifically was insane. And a lot of my clients utilized astrology for that. And none of them were caught on their heels. They were prepared for pivot. And so April, these two planets are coming together again in a series of conjunctions, but it's not in Aquarius this time. And COVID was very, very literal because Aquarius is the sign of the collective and it's the sign of fixed air. And so what happened? There was global restriction, the collective, right? In an airborne pandemic. Fixed air is Aquarius. It does not get more textbook and literal. Okay, now what's going to happen, and it is happening in Aries. And the day that this podcast is dropping, April 10th, 2026, um, it is Mars will have just entered Aries, so the vibe has just started to shift to Aries. It's gonna start accelerating, accelerating, accelerating. So now it's happening in Aries. Aries is fire. Aries is a cardinal sign. It's going to move a lot quicker than the thing than how it moved in 2020. And this is why, April 2026 is giving March 2020 vibes 100x. Why? Because it's happening in Aries. Aries moves quick. Aries is zero hesitation. Aries is the chutzpah and the drive and the action. Unhealed Mars energy is a war. Okay, we're seeing things ratchet up with war around the planet. You've got to be in deep relationship with, okay, the truth of what's happening on our planet without being at the mercy of it. And then acknowledging, like, where am I at war within myself? Aries does not hesitate. While Libra hesitates and people pleases and hems and haws and delays, Aries takes action 5 times, gets feedback 5 times, and they're on a whole new trajectory of life while everybody else is just like scared and still, right? That's the magic of Aries. Aries can be very, very hot-headed though. It's very, very quick. It's like that escalated quickly. And that's what's happening, specifically. And I'm just using this as an example because it's an example everyone can relate to, but how things are escalating so quickly in the Middle East right now, like it's not surprising based on the astrology. And so with Aries, everything is going to be very hot to the touch. We're also in the year of the fire horse, and it's going to be very extreme. There's also going to be a lot of limitations. So it's going to be really rapid fire action. Like you've got to make moves, and not just any move, bold moves in your real dream. The key word for Aries is audacity. That's why my signature breathwork masterclass for this frequency is called Aries Audacity Breathwork, because that's the key word of Aries in the highest expression. So I don't know exactly what's going to happen in the collective, but these seismic shifts, they are earth shattering. They are not small. They are era defining, just like 2020 was era defining. There was a key window, okay, 2020 to 2026. And now we're in a different window of 2026 and 2027, 2 years till 2028, where the amount of change that's going to happen in the next 2 years is going to be like what we did in the past 5 years, 100x, my friends. Like for real. Think about AI accelerating so fast. It's only going to get quicker. This is why all of our work together in New Earth Elite is so important. This is why the nervous system reset, not regulation, is so important. If you are not in command of your mind, your body, your brain, your bank account, your relationships, your freedom, if you are not in command, you will spin out into chaos like most of the collective. You cannot allow this. You are here to lead. You are here to lead. And so you are getting a lot of like really honestly like top secret information right now from the ancient codes and the stars that most people don't take seriously. Like what would it have been worth to you to know that COVID was coming? My clients have made millions and multiple millions of dollars going to with a compound billions based on the one thing is that they knew some iteration of the energy of COVID was coming and they were prepared and they moved without hesitation when it hit. So this is the first seismic shift happening in April, okay? It's going to start ramping up you know, around April 9th. It's going to peak around April 19th. Everything will be different on the global stage. Your life will be different. You've got to be really keyed into noticing what's happening in your life in the themes of taking action, bold moves, passion, aggression, and war. It's going to be really easy to burn out. It's going to be really easy to be agitated. If you feel agitated, do not type, talk, or text. Pause. It's just ground yourself. It's going to be really easy to be reactive and do shit that you can't undo. So you've got to learn how to channel that energy for the highest good, for your dreams, for your passions. And it's not about like if you are out here, you know, I really don't think it's helpful for us to be in constant conversation about the literal wars going on our planet because you're feeding the negative side. You've got to be feeding the light. It's not about bypassing. It's not about pretending that people aren't in pain. It's about elevating and transcending and assuming your role as a leader. Okay. And Aries is very coded with leadership. Aries rules the head. So put on your crown as New Earth elite, spiritual royalty, and level up, babe. Now, the second thing happening is happening at the end of April, April 25th to be exact, maybe 26th, depending on where you are in the world. If you're in Hawaii, probably the 26th. Uranus is entering Gemini, and it will be there for the next 7 years. And this is significant because Uranus is a major planet, only changes signs every 7 years. The past 7 years since 2018, you, me, all of us have been in a very specific portal of energy with Uranus in Taurus, okay? A very specific cycle of Uranus is the planet of shock, upheaval, change, revolution. In the sign of Taurus, Taurus is the body. It is the five earthly senses. It is the food system. It is Mother Earth. It is wealth. It is money. It is the body. It is our values. So that this part of your life, again, you've got to know where this is impacting you specifically for you to leverage this information at the highest level. There's been something happening since 2018 where a part of your life and for the whole collective, like we've been exposed to the pain of Mother Earth, shock, upheaval, change, revolution. There have been food supply issues around the world, right? Uranus and Taurus. I'm a Taurus rising. This literally has been impacting my identity, the cells of my body. In 2018, I first broke up with a person I thought I would marry. Then I won a job, a full-time job playing in the US Navy. I had quote unquote lifetime financial security. I walked away from my dream job and I just shattered my whole identity. My identity to that point had been I'm a classical musician and I was damn good. And then I was like, there's more for me. I started following my intuition when everybody told me I was crazy. And then, okay, what? I built my first company. Then I got called to Maui and I walked away from that. My first company, my first divine assignment, the chapter was done. I moved to Maui. I went through the deepest shamanic initiation and rebirth of my life that was extreme bliss and extreme pain at the very same time. Shout out to the planet Pluto for my Pluto Saturn conjunction. And then and then in 2024, I got called to the mainland, to Michigan, and I've been in a season of just setting up basically my identity and my foundation as a top oracle advisor for high net worth visionaries and leaders and founders around the world and traveling full time and really being seen as this high performance spiritual mastery elite leader and stewarding the movement New Earth Elite, right? This is a total identity shift. So that's just to say that's a huge, like shocking change, right? That's been the past 7 years for me. And for you, it's been a specific part of life. If you're a Taurus rising, you will really relate to it's extremely personal. That's the most personal place it can hit you is your rising sign. It could have been your second house, which is finances. It could have been your sixth house, which is health and wellness. It could be your seventh house, one-on-one relationship and client work. Like, I don't know. If you want to go deep into this with me, apply for one-on-one through the link in the show notes. This cycle is ending at the end of April, and a new cycle is beginning where Uranus is entering Gemini. It's going to move a lot quicker in Gemini. What I want you to be aware of about these two seismic shifts in April is that they both are really, really quick. Aries is cardinal fire. There's cardinal, fixed, and mutable of every element in the zodiac. These are called the modes, the modalities, right? Cardinal starts things, fixed things sustain it, and then mutable frequencies transmute, they change, right? So we have cardinal fire, the ignition, the spark. It starts shit. And then Uranus, which is already the planet of shock, upheaval, change, and revolution, is entering the sign of Gemini for the next 7 years till 2034. No, 2033. And Gemini is literally the sign of mutable air. Again, with the air element, golden thread since 2020. I would not be surprised. Another something airborne. I would not be surprised. Also because the South Node, I believe it was South Node in Sagittarius, North Node in Gemini in 2020. Don't quote me on that. I got to go back and look, but there was something major with Gemini happening. So Gemini is the twins. Gemini is the ability to hold multiple truths at once. It's mutable air. It rules the lungs and the nervous system. Again, if you are not in command of your nervous system, not regulating it, regulating is a distraction, a dark force distraction from the negative side. Okay. You've got to be resetting your nervous system and leveraging your nervous system as your most important resource and asset. Okay. This is all happening on April 25th. And if that isn't enough in itself, like it's going to go quick because Uranus and Taurus in fixed Earth, it was very slow. It was extremely shocking, but Taurus is the most fixed of all the signs. It's like a mountain. So if you put Uranus, I think of it as like an electric jolt of energy. Like it takes a lot to like shake and awake a mountain, right? However, if there's a tornado, if you put a lightning bolt in it, that shit's gonna move real quick. And so everything with AI is extremely coded with Uranus and Gemini. And with Pluto and Aquarius happening at the very same time, we have the planet of power and the sign of air. It's a lot of air. And when we think about fire and air, Aries and Gemini, if there's a fire already going and you bring in a tornado, the fire is going to get real big, right? Fire and air expand each other. Just like if you have a hot tornado and then you put fire on it, it just becomes a really, really, really hot, quick tornado, right? Whereas if we had Uranus in a water sign, which would be kind of bizarre, it'll be interesting to see when that happens. Um, it'll be like, what's it called when there's a tornado of water? I can't think of it. It's not cyclone. A water spout? Oh yeah, a water spout. I've seen those actually in my lifeguarding days. Um, If it was, for example, Uranus in a water sign, that would be fire and water. They would balance each other out. It would be less extreme. What's happening instead in April is that they're feeding off each other. And it's like, it's either feeding a very like epic hero's journey where you just decide, I am spiraling up into this, into greatness, or you are going to spiral down into chaos with the collective because that's just what the energy is. Like, this is not my opinion. This is what the stars are saying. So, with Uranus in Gemini, it's like, it's also the US Uranus return. So when the US was founded, Uranus was in Gemini, and it has historically, again, when we study the patterns, has always been associated with war. The American Revolution, the Haitian Revolution, the French Revolution all coincided with Uranus and Gemini, which is again why I'm not surprised by what's happening on the global stage. Is, a war possible in the United States? Absolutely, right? Do I know if it's going to happen? I don't. Like, it could happen. There are always different potentials. What is our job? To stay in our power and to choose the timeline of expanding the light and revealing as much light as possible. Because the thing is, you and I both incarnated onto Earth right now because of the amount of darkness being exposed, because there are equal and actually a lot more amount of light to be revealed, right? Just like when you stare into the sun, it's so much light, it's blinding. That's what's happening right now. It appears like there's so much darkness because there's so much light, it's blinding. And so your job is to stay in your power and to leverage this energy for yourself, and advance your agenda as a pioneer, as a leader, as a visionary, as a founder. And that's what we do here in New Earth Elite. And we do it through the four quadrants of healthy, wealthy, happy, and free, stewarding our missions of divinity, right? So healthy, there's going to be a lot of people are prone to burnout and getting your nervous system fried in this energy. In terms of wealth, you've got to understand how things are moving quickly. You've got to understand what's going on with AI so you can jump on the opportunities, leverage the opportunities, and make quantum money in this ecosystem. Do not get caught up in this chaos and distraction of tariffs and gas prices going up, blah, 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 blah. It's when you play by the rules of creator, that shit cannot touch you. Okay. Happy. If you stay in command of your body, your nervous system, and your brain, and you focus on the fulfillment and the light of the creator, the amount of happiness you can access living your soul mission is unmatched. And the final one, which is the combination of everything, is freedom. New Earth and a better world is about everybody being free on their terms. It's unconditional love, it's unconditional wealth, it's prosperity, it's bliss. It is truly building heaven on earth. That is what we're doing here in a better world. That is what we're doing here with New Earth Elite. So, this is an insane time to be alive. You are here as a role model. You're here as a pioneer. You're not taking the road less traveled. You're building a new fucking road, and Creator is giving you one brick at a time, and you've got to put your foot out into the unknown. And at the last second, Creator is going to put a brick under it. Okay, that's literally what the game is right now. So I'm so glad I decided to do this bonus episode. It feels really good and abundant and free. I was like, it's going to be like 15 minutes long. And then I started, I'm like, oh, there's a lot here. So I decided, there is so much going on. I wanted to create a resource and like a toolkit for anyone who wants to just literally start today in resetting your nervous system and learning more about these energies and like truly making the most of the energy of April 2026. So I created an April bundle, and it's a combination of my signature astrology and cosmic cellular breathwork journeys for Aries energy, Gemini, it's Aries audacity, Gemini genius, and Taurus torque, because we're also going to be entering Taurus season as well as Venus is in Taurus, which is just bringing honestly just some like nourishing Venus energy to the space. I'm also going to include my intro to reading your natal chart course in this bundle. The cool thing about this bundle is, it's just like this is for you if you, this is a tool and an offering for you to literally start today, for anybody to start today, literally get it today and dive into these energies and really resetting your nervous system. There's so much going on with April. I was like, I feel so called to create something that people can just like hop into and receive with right now from anywhere in the world and you get lifetime access to it. And it's really cool because I'm only offering it on the podcast. Um, yeah. So the link to that is in the show notes. The other ways that you can go deeper, if you really want to go deep into this work, and these are my, my extreme focus right now is my one-on-one Lux mentorship and my Greece Atlantis activation retreat. The Greece Atlantis new earth activation in June at the solstice. Like, as you can see, and as you have learned in this podcast, these are unprecedented, fated times. Like, this is literally like March 2020 times 100x. Like, getting in my world right now is really important. It will be a trajectory shift that you will look back on. And getting in my world and working with me in high proximity is like the move. So if you are the visionary, the pioneer, the leader, the maverick, and you are seeking this high proximity space of high performance and spiritual mastery with astrology, breath work, me as your personal shaman, like really getting keyed in and dialed in on the four quadrants, healthy, wealthy, happy, and free. These are the spaces for you. They're extremely limited, they're high proximity, and they are, it's not for everyone, right? It's New Earth Elite. It is just extreme depth and it's very specific. So if this is you, if you feel called to the space and like you want to get in person with me, both include in person. I prioritize in person with my one-on-one Lux clients. And one-on-one Lux is really where you and I are going to sit down and I'm going to be like, this is exactly how everything is hitting you and your business and every single person in your family, like with this astrology in April, like this is exactly what to do with it. This is how to manage your money with it. Like if you want all of that, one-on-one Lux. If you feel called to Greece and you want to get on sacred land with me for 6 days with 8 souls. It'll be 8 souls. So you and 7 other souls and me and our private chef um in June on the islands. Go to the link in the show notes and apply. That's on early bird pricing till April 15th. So if you feel the call, definitely apply now. If you feel called to both of these high proximity experiences, just apply for either one and say on your application, I want to combine this with one-on-one mentorship, or I want to combine this with the Greece Atlantis, because what I do is I create bespoke concierge activations, transformation, mentorship for you, specifically based on your goals, your soul path, your soul mission, all of these things. So the link to all of this is in the show notes. I could not be more grateful and excited to welcome you. So if you feel called, go apply right now. I can't wait to get your application and I will be in touch when I receive it. All right, beautiful souls, go out there and be the best you that you can be. Please join me in New Earth Elite if you feel the call. If you feel the call for the bundle, hop in the bundle right now. Start right now. If you feel the call for higher, deeper dive, high proximity work, apply one-on-one Greece right now. Such a time as this, April 2026 is insane. And it's go time for New Earth Elite. I believe in you. I believe in a better world. Go make a stranger smile. And I will see you next time on A Better World with Adrienne.